Hello YouTube, Watchdog for Life, and I am doing part 2 of my testimony. I'll label it as what I labeled the first one, proof. I am proof, living proof that there is a God. And I am living proof that Jesus Christ can set you free. We will overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And like I said in my first video, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and click on the link below. I'll put it in the description. Proof, part 1 of how God saved me, changed my life. I walked away from Him and then He brought me back. Well, in 1988, when He brought me back, it was easy enough to put away the drugs and the alcohol, although I did falter again and go back into drugs and alcohol for a very short period of time in that 3-year time frame between 1988 and 1991. I eventually did walk away from that by the power of God's grace and mercy, the power of His Holy Spirit working in me. But the one thing for 3 years that I struggled with was smoking cigarettes. Now some of you might say, well, smoking cigarettes isn't that bad, it's not a sin per se, some might say. Well, I tend to disagree with you, only based on my experience and what God did for me and spoke to me about. During this 3-year time frame, I learned about God's grace, the true grace. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13 was one of the scriptures that God showed me. There is no temptation that is not common to man, but with that temptation is a way of escape. The way of escape is His grace. His grace is not so we stay in sin. His grace is so we walk out of sin and completely separate ourselves from the sin in our life. But not on our own power. Apart from Him, we can do nothing. Apart from Jesus Christ, we can do nothing. And so, like I said, I struggled. I prayed. I kept giving it to God, and I just couldn't figure out these cigarettes. I tell you, the nicotine had such a hold on me. And finally, in 1991, I was in my prayer closet, and as I was in my prayer closet, I started feeling this very deep pain inside of my heart of hearts. I can't describe the pain other than the fact that it brought great sorrow upon me, and I started crying and crying, and finally I said to God, what is this pain, Lord? What am I feeling? And He said to me, the pain that you are feeling today is just a portion of what I feel every time you take a puff off of one of those cigarettes. Today, I am going to deliver you from the cigarettes. And then He commanded me to go on a 7-day fast. He said, go on a 7-day fast. And if you ever, and this is His warning to me, okay? This is my experience. This is my testimony that how God freed me from these cigarettes. And He told me this: if I ever take another puff off another cigarette ever again in my life, that He will turn me over to the desires of my flesh, and I would reap corruption all the rest of my days. So I got up off the floor, I wiped the tears off my eyes, got rid of my cigarettes, and went on a 7-day fast. And after 7 days, I wasn't thinking about cigarettes anymore. I was pretty hungry, actually. That's the power of God. That is the power of God. I can't take credit. I can't take any credit for it whatsoever. To God be the glory forever and ever. He is the one that freed me. He is the one that empowered me to do so. If there is something in your life today that you are struggling with, you're watching this video right now, and there's a sin you're struggling with, no matter what it might be, no matter what addiction it might be, I challenge you to do the same thing that I did. Go to God. He will free you. He will free you. I challenge you. Go take it to God. And remember, we will overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. God bless.